Asta, Noelle, and Magnuswing thought they were going on an easy mission, a simple hunting expedition to kill some boars. But this quickly transforms into an epic wizard battle, as they are dragged into a knockout, no-holds-barred fight against a group of evil ice wizards. This was a pretty good episode of Black Clover. More of a build-up to the actual battle, which is going to be taking place in the next episode, but there was enough spectacle, and they even managed to build a little bit more on the Black Clover world in this episode right here. Not to mention, we were formally introduced to the ice magic-wielding Heath. It looks like this guy is going to be our main villain of the first major arc of the series. And honestly, I'm kind of disappointed that his name is simply just Heath. It's so simple. You'd think a guy who uses like really flashy, super destructive ice magic would have a way cooler name like Icicus, the Wizard Bringer of Doom. But no, it's just some dude named Heath. At least he looks really cool with a gnarly scar going across his face, and of course his nameless followers, who all seem to have their very own unique magic abilities as well. And according to Magnuswing, these guys are on like the same level as the Magic Knights, so they don't want to underestimate them at all. Really though, this episode was incredibly simple in that basically almost nothing happened at all. Yet the episode still managed to fly right by. I'm not quite sure why that is. Maybe the series is starting to grow on me. What I will say is, Asta's screams are still annoying as hell. So let's just jump right into the review. This episode right here was all about Asta, Noelle, and Magnuswing going on their previous mission to hunt down these giant boars, which are not your typical run-of-the-mill boars. They are giant boars which are on fire. Because why? I don't know. We're in a fantasy world and it looks really freaking cool. And Asta manages to take them out with a lot of gusto, which is really awesome. And it really does prove how super strong he is in this episode by being able to lift 4 of these freaking things and actually being able to do it without buckling under all of that ridiculous giant fiery warthog weight. It's insane. It's a nice little funny scene too, but immediately right after that, we really jump right into the arc where they come upon Saucy Village, which is enveloped in all of this mist. They go in there, and Asta is actually able to use his sword to cut right through it because, of course, it negates magic, so this is going to be really helpful for a lot of scenarios in the future, I imagine. And, of course, they run upon these villagers, which have been completely ransacked and destroyed because these weird other guys are, like, looking for some sort of, like, magic artifact. And they're led by Heath. That's right, Heath, the magic user. Just talking about that guy and saying his name out loud. I don't know why it's really funny to me, but this guy, like his actual magic, his disposition is very cold. He's very uncaring, unfeeling, and he wastes no time in attacking these do-gooder magic knights and, of course, all of the citizens as well. And he even goes as far as to try and basically just, like, impale and stab everybody to death with his giant ice abilities, which are really insane. And even tries to crush everyone with this one giant chunk of ice, which just comes out of freaking nowhere. It's magic. They can do what they want. And then that's when Asta comes in, cuts it in half, does his annoying scream, and then that's it. That's basically the real end of the episode right there. We all know what's coming, we all know what the next episode is going to be, and hopefully it lives up to the hype. That being said, there are some other surprising developments in this episode right here. One of them involves the character of Noelle, and another one goes into the lore of the world. Let's talk about that a little bit first. So, we get to learn that they're like this region which is like separated into these various pieces. There is the royalty, there's the commoners, and then there's just everybody who's in the forsaken woods of no one gives a crap. And then there's also like these 3 kingdoms, which are all going to war with one another. There's like the diamonds, the spades, the aces, the Uno card. I'm not really sure. They didn't get into them all that much. But still, it's really cool that we get to see a little bit more of how this world works, and the fact that we also learn that they're in this forbidden area as well. Why is it forbidden? Why is it forsaken? Why does it have that name? Mostly because the people who live here aren't really that great at using magic, and they only use it to just do everyday things, which I still think is pretty freaking amazing when you really think about it, but in this world of magic, everything is just not all that amazing to these people. It's hilarious. They see all this stuff like it's just the run-of-the-mill thing they see every day. Other than that, there's also the Noelle stuff, which is really awesome. And you know what? I'm going to mention one other thing because I feel bad for not even talking about Magnus Wing's backstory, but we'll get to that in a second. Noelle, in this episode, is starting to learn how to focus her power and utilize it to the best of her ability. She might not be the best attacker, but man, can she be the ultimate shield. When Heath is getting ready to just kill all of the citizens out of nowhere with his giant ice attacks, she actually manages to create this like giant torrent of water which circles all around them and nothing can break through it, and it's really freaking awesome. It's like she's like tapping into her inner Super Saiyan Kyuubi Pirate King powers. It's really awesome, and I can't wait to see more of this in the future. And then there's Magnus Swing, who does have a little bit of a backstory in this episode. We get to learn that he was always sort of a juvenile delinquent, as his actual character would definitely portray, and he came from this village that was like really close to where they are right now, Saucy Village, and he has a really close connection with the mayor there, who's also a really important character in this arc for not really doing all that much, aside from giving Magnus Swing his entire motivation for becoming a Magic Knight, which is to say he beat the crap out of him all the time. Whenever Magnus Swing was causing trouble, he would come in and basically spank his ass. And I mean literally spank his ass. There is a scene where this dude, by the way, I don't know how to pronounce his name, by the way. It's like Seihi? I don't know. It's an anime, so it's already really difficult, but point is, he's able to, like, use all of this, like, sword magic. So he can, like, summon swords around them and move them around with his mind or his magic book or whatever the hell how it works. And he, like, pins Magnus Swing against a wall and then spanks him with one of the swords, like, repeatedly. It's so insane and ridiculous. And it's all done with, like, crappy animation, too. So it's just, it sort of amplifies the humor a little bit, to be perfectly honest. But basically, over time and getting his butt handed to him all the time by the mayor of Saucy Village, Magnus Swing decides, yeah, maybe I should just join the Magna Knights. Maybe I should do that. You know, it's my thing. And that's pretty much what happens. It's kind of a throwaway, and it's all done in the span of this episode. I do appreciate that because I'm ready to move on to some crazy freaking action. We are nearly 10 episodes into this series, and I still haven't really seen anything that has, like, just completely blown me away. And considering this is based on an action shonen manga, I'm ready to see something that's going to blow my damn face off, if you know what I mean. Not like John Travolta and Nicolas Cage Face Off, like good Face Off. I take that back. Face Off is a really good movie. What's the rundown on this episode of Black Clover? There is still hope for Black Clover. I really do believe there is. This is definitely a diamond in the rough kind of anime. I mean, it's stock. It's really stock, very tropey. A lot of the characters, I swear I've seen a million times in other anime, but something about the series is drawing me back, and it's still probably just the underdog story itself. I've always talked about that when I review anime. I love underdog stories. I think a lot of people love underdog stories. There's something really awesome about watching a character who has, like, no strength, no confidence, and then he just, boom, opens up. He blossoms into this amazing hero that everybody admires and everybody loves. And it's really awesome seeing that come to fruition, and it's always really satisfying. And there's always someone stronger that allows them to push themselves even further. So they're not just a perfect character either. There are certain weaknesses to them that make them fun. Asta is very much that character. His DNA has been spliced from so many other characters. But still, I love the gimmick of his character, and I think that's what I'm starting to learn a lot in this episode right here, that despite the fact that he does have a grimoire, a magic book, and he can summon a giant freaking magic sword of destruction, he still can't use magic, but he can repel and negate it. So getting to see him go up against these opponents who have spent their entire lives focusing and working on their magic power to become really, really super powerful, and to see it just immediately get wiped away by a kid who doesn't have magic at all is satisfying. He's doing it all on his own strength and his own laurels. It's freaking great. That part of the series, I really am enjoying. Whenever Asta screams, I don't freaking like it that much. I'm not really a fan of that. I know a lot of people aren't. There's a point where sometimes it can become funny and sometimes it's not. In this episode right here, every time it happens, it's annoying. But I have to admit, him cutting through the giant block of ice was really freaking satisfying. Really great moment. And I can't wait to see more of the actual battles in the coming episodes. Hopefully those dudes in the robes are not going to be pushovers. Hopefully they'll actually do something. It's hard to say if they're even going to have anything distinctive about them because all of their lower Batman chins all look exactly the freaking same. So I can't tell if they're going to be unique at all. I will say that Heath does look like a pretty cool first villain, and I honestly cannot wait to see how Asta's going to take him down. Why is Asta going to take him down? He's the main character! Who else is going to freaking do it? I don't even read the manga and I know that this is going to happen. If that does not happen, I'll review something I hate. How about that? So there we go. This was a decent episode of Black Clover. I still think the production value kind of blows on the series. Like, there's just really nothing all that special about it. But like I said, the characters are at least somewhat interesting, and we're still very early in the Black Clover series. Like, there's still so much more to learn. This is definitely one of those series that's going to be a slow burn, and it is certainly burning. This was a 4 out of 5 for me. I think for most people, in my heart of hearts, I know that it's a 3 out of 5, but I'm starting to actually become kind of attached to the show, which is really strange. But that being said, it's still nowhere near my favorite anime series of all time, or even close to it, to be perfectly honest. Like, if I had, like, a top 50 anime, Black Clover still probably wouldn't make that list. It'd still be, like, way at the top, like, past the 100s. But it's still at least entertaining, and I'll give it that. It does have some funny moments and some surprisingly cool moments. So, there it is. That's my thoughts on this episode right here. It was pretty good. Check it out, Black Clover fans. I want to hear from you guys, though. Make sure to tell me what you thought about it in the comment section below, and what you hope to see from the rest of the Black Clover anime series. What do you hope to see in the battle against Heath and his goons? Oh, yes. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video. I'd really appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time. And as always, stay Dandel, baby.